All right, everybody, going to be talking about the warm weather we've got coming our way today. And again, some stormy weather tomorrow night. So big warm up coming. We're talking about temperatures in the 80s. Excuse my background. I've got some boards around here. I'm going to work on some shelves later today. But the severe weather today that's going to develop, it's developing well to the north. In fact, let's take a look here at the radar. This is going to be up to the north, really developing in northern Illinois this morning. Of course, there's going to be a whole lot more coming as we get later into the day. This is pretty much the active weather we have right now. And that's a really nasty squall line there moving into northern Illinois. And that may interrupt travel in and out of Chicago later today. But they just had a tornado warning up there. It kind of fizzled out, it looks like, but still a pretty impactful line of severe thunderstorms there. Bad echo. Two mics on. You know what? I might have two mics on. Let's see here. Off. Okay, that should take care of it. Thanks, guys. That should take care of it. Yeah, somehow another mic came on, but I think I've got everything off except this one mic. So I think, okay, good. All right, so what's going on up to the north? We've got this moderate risk out for severe weather in Arkansas, and that's going to blow up later today. And then also in eastern Iowa, some severe weather popping up there. Tornado threat fairly high in these hatched areas. Probably looking at some supercell development out there. Mainly wind for other parts of central Missouri, and then the hail threat's pretty high, and we're probably dealing with some of that out there right now. Going to go back and see if this is going to be the outlook for tomorrow, and they have gone with, good morning, Lisa, they've gone with an enhanced risk to our north, and just this little sliver here across the northwest corner of the state. We're going to talk about that here in a second. The primary threat for severe weather tomorrow is really north of us as we look farther north. And that's really where the high wind shear is. We just don't have a lot of wind shear down here. It's like the front's coming in, it's just kind of laying down, and basically we have a lot of cape, but cape alone usually just leads to heavy rain. We'll get some strong thunderstorms and updrafts. Higher winds are going to be north of us, and then again, this is a look at the hail threat here. So overall, not overly impressive around here. Here's a look at satellite this morning. This from, I believe, from the Marshall Space Flight Center out there. Yeah. So what we're seeing is kind of cool. You can see those clouds kind of streaking out here. So the winds are getting stronger coming across the area. And then notice how we're starting to clear out after that morning fog. The overall big view, we've got a big trough of low pressure over the Great Basin and a ridge of high pressure. And that's going to be important for us because what that ridge is doing along the East Coast, not only is it bringing the warmer weather here, it's kind of blocking the storm system that's coming in. So I do want to show you, as we take a look at this bigger map here, and we'll take a look at the bigger picture. And then, again, this is raw model data covering the entire U.S. And let's see, this is the 12Z run coming in. It's not complete. So what I want to show you is main area low pressure back here across the southeastern Colorado. This is basically your Colorado lee side cyclogenesis here. And notice how far away that area low pressure is from us. And also, I'll get in closer in just a second, but you can kind of see how all the dynamics are really north of us, especially today. And then tomorrow, one of the things I always look at is the pressure. And the pressure is really filling rapidly tomorrow. This is actually tomorrow afternoon. We've got thunderstorms here, but just notice how that front stalls out. And there's just, I'll zoom in closer so you can see it better. So as we take a look, typically you want like 1,008 to 1,010 millibar low pressure. Here comes the front. You can kind of see the trough here as it's this way down here and onto the Mississippi River. This will be the noon hour tomorrow, but the pressure just keeps filling in. So 1,014, and it's rising. It's 1,018. So as we look at this, I'll go forward one more time. I'm going to look at the sounding data late tomorrow into the overnight hours. There's just the storm relative velocity surface to 1,000 is 37, and the surface to 3,000 feet is 74. You usually want about at least minimal 150. And the Cape, it's around 101. So while the Cape may be higher in the afternoon, there's just not a lot of wind shear out there. So this typically leads to heavy rain, some smaller hail, and some noisy thunderstorms. And this will happen overnight. Actually, let's go back here. So here's another view here. Cape should be a little bit higher. 0. So again, it's got a dew point of 47. So kind of go back here. This is going to be, let me get the right, yeah, here's 60-degree dew points. So overall, not very impressive. Looks like a lot of heavy rain with that coming in. So this is going to be a kind of a snapshot of, we'll go to the noon hour tomorrow. You see the heaviest rain along the Mississippi River. Then taking it up to about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon over northwest Alabama. We've got slight tornado threat here. It shows dew point 67. Storm relative velocity still is like 97 and 105. The Cape's at 2,000 though. So that's what's going to fuel some pretty good updrafts in these thunderstorms, and then it just quickly drops as we go later in the evening. So we'll watch mainly northern Mississippi tomorrow. And one problem I'm having is it keeps defaulting out to 348 hours. So the challenge is your pressure's really not, it's good to see the pressure so high here. It's like 1,012, 1,014. So there's not a lot of wind shear here for this as it comes in. So there's some good news there with that. Let's see. Scott's got some questions out there. We'll talk long range here in just a second. We've got cooler weather and more rain coming in as we go into the weekend. Oh, you're welcome, Grace. This will post later too, and eventually I'll have a better background. Working on that. Yeah, we need this break. But again, tomorrow the storms are going to be on the strong side, but nothing like what we've had to deal with lately. So let's take another look here. Let's go long range. We're going to go down the road. This is going to be, as we get into Friday, I've had a lot of Friday questions. This is the GFS. We'll go over the European as well. Yeah, I think we'll get thunderstorms throughout much of the day on Thursday. So this is going to be midnight, tomorrow night into Thursday. And then you can just kind of see this area of rain that's over northern Mississippi and into northwest Alabama. Again, we're right here. Again, if you can't tell on this map, there's Tennessee and there's Mississippi. This is going to be Thursday morning, periods of showers and storms, and then that high pressure breaks down a bit. Cooler temperatures come in, and then here comes the rain again as we get into Friday morning. Quite a bit of rain, just a steady rain, temperatures in the 60s, and this is into Friday night with more rain. And the other thing we're watching over here is you see how these are called isobars. See how they're kind of moving towards us, this bend here. That's a wedge. So we get a wedge of cooler air coming in. Those are difficult to forecast how far west they go, but that's cold air damming. But notice we continue with the rain. This is Saturday morning, especially in eastern Alabama. So Saturday afternoon, the GFS model is breaking down the rain. And as we get into Sunday, look how that backdoor cold front starts moving in. That 1026, that's the millibars there. Okay, great. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it. So this is going to lead to a fairly cool Easter weekend. And notice how the wedge, this is Monday, the wedge just keeps getting stronger. So this is just a complete break in any threat of severe weather. High pressure moves over us Tuesday of next week. So really, this is blocking any severe weather. So the only threat we have will be tomorrow night of some stronger thunderstorms, particularly over northwest Alabama. So let's talk temperatures here, and then I'm going to go to the European model. So let me find it here. Temperatures. So what you're going to see here is this big warm up we're having today, and these will be highs 84 degrees, 87 in Tuscaloosa. Again, this is this afternoon. And then as we continue on, tomorrow, you see the cold front shows up pretty well there in St. Louis tomorrow morning. We'll reach the low 80s. I think the cloud cover is going to have an influence on us tomorrow. And then we continue on. So here comes the cooler air. And this is Thursday. Keep in mind the afternoon still a little wet in some areas. But notice the change here. You've got 73 over there in Etowah County, 60 in Huntsville, and 54 out in the Shoals. So those temperatures will drop. And here we are. This is going to be Friday morning. We'll start off in the upper 40s and low 50s. And we may not warm up much at all. Look at that. And also notice the cooler air over in North Carolina. That's part of that backdoor cold front, that wedge. And as we continue on, that wedge of cooler air continues to slide down the Appalachian. And you see it there. That's Saturday at noon. We've got 40s in Etowah County, 40s in probably Fort Payne. This is the noon hour. So that wedge is, if you're going to Atlanta, it's going to be chilly. And keep in mind there's a few showers with this as well. And then as we get on into Sunday, it doesn't get a lot better. This is early Sunday morning. We're in the mid 40s. And temperatures warm probably into the mid 60s. So overall, I think the coolest day is going to be Saturday. But a really nice spring into the weekend. And then Monday, this is Monday morning around 49 degrees, and then 59 at roughly 10 a.m. and then warm into the 60s. So overall, we've got some really nice, I wanted to say fall weather, but nice spring weather coming after we get rid of this 1 to 3 inches of rain we'll see tomorrow night, and then some additional rainfall. Oh, here comes Hershey. How you doing? Yeah, you just had to come visit, huh? She's like, who are you talking to? So again, the main threat for severe weather today is north, and the primary threat tomorrow is going to be north too. No, we won't have any severe weather Thursday. Let me go back here and talk about the setup here for tomorrow for us. Again, notice how far north this is. Here's my cursor. This is northwest Alabama. This enhanced risk, we'll see, because by tomorrow the whole area low pressure is going to start filling in. I'm going to go back to the model here and we'll get in. I'll switch. I told you I was going to look at the European model. Here's a quick look at the, that's not the right one. So here's the high resolution European model. Kind of look at the bigger picture here. Big area low pressure over Kansas. This is later today. And that lifts northeast very quickly. And by tomorrow morning, it's way up there in northern Wisconsin. And the tail end of what we see here is the area low pressure is really filling. It's filling in, and that usually doesn't lead to any widespread severe weather. And that's, again, this is going to be late tomorrow afternoon. So, I mean, what's happening is the front is stalling. And as the front stalls, it kind of, all the dynamics that are creating the severe weather off to the north, it just kind of falls apart. So we're going to be left with some thunderstorms in a pretty muggy air mass, which typically lead to, like, think of summertime thunderstorms. Heavy thunderstorms, a lot of rain, maybe some smaller hail, a lot of lightning, and wind gusts around 50 miles per hour. So as we continue on into Thursday, that front's still stuck in here, but then it starts to move out. What I do want to look at here is going to be some of these short range weather models. I'll use the NAM, for example. We'll go ahead and get regional again. So we'll take a look at the thunderstorm chances on here. So as we go through the day today, and it's kind of odd. I don't know if you guys have looked at some of the model data, but it doesn't quite fill in up here as explosive as the forecast, the outlook from the Storm Prediction Center is. So I'm a little skeptical about that. Looks like it quickly becomes linear to the north. And then here's Wednesday. This is going to be about 7 o'clock tomorrow night. You see how this is lined up? This is a slow-moving area of showers and thunderstorms that just expands and gets wider. And as that happens, it's just a big weakening trend with this. And we continue on. And this model really doesn't have any rain coming until Thursday morning. So it all depends on where this thing stalls out. And in general, it doesn't have as much rain. So it's a tricky forecast being on the outer edge of that. Look at some of the severe weather features. This is going to be storm relative helicity. And you notice how it's just glowing off the charts up here. And of course, it's going to. There's more wind shear up to the north. So as we get into tomorrow, it starts to increase over eastern Arkansas. This is actually going to be tonight, midnight or so. And then notice how that area lifts out of here. So by noon tomorrow, while the wind shear is high at 220 meters per second squared per second, this shows a potential severe setup. However, there's nothing that's going to trigger these thunderstorms. Again, what you're looking at here on this sounding, the green is the dew point as you go up. So think of this from the bottom of the atmosphere to the top as you're going up. This is where we see if there's a cap. Let's see. Yeah, there's a cap on this here. So you kind of see, I don't know if you can see that very well or not, but it's where that red line, it goes up and then it takes a sharp right. So this would be a conditionally unstable, but that cap's probably not going to break. It breaks later, but the helicity is really, really low at that time. And again, the front's still out to the west. So as we continue on, that area red lifts north as the area low pressure lifts north. And then as we get into the late night, it just kind of fades out. I don't know why it's picking that up there, but that's not going to happen. All right, so far today, clouds are finally clearing out. It's going to be a really warm day today. Probably just thunder and some gusty winds tomorrow. The only thing I can see is if there's a tornado watch out for Mississippi, they may include the extreme northwest corner, so Lauderdale, Colbert, and Franklin, just out of caution, just because it's been so active lately. And of course, we're going to keep an eye on it, but I don't see a really big threat for severe weather. But we'll keep an eye on it. If that cap were to break, I don't think it's going to, but that's what we'll watch out for. So the severe weather today, by the way, is all well north of us. Let's take a closer look up here, moving towards Chicago. Very strong winds with this. This is on the leading edge of that deepening area low pressure that continues to move east. Let's take a look at velocity in there and see what they've got going on. Base reflectivity, velocity. Yeah, that's pretty nasty. Well, it's not as bad as it was. It looks like it's kind of maybe outflow dominated there near Sterling. But a little rough up there early this morning nonetheless. So anyway, I'm going to finish out this live here. And what I'm eventually going to try to do is link when I go live from the station to YouTube and to Facebook, so I can please both crowds. I might consider that, Daniel, that reading the skew T, log P, hodograph. I still struggle with photographs occasionally, and they've got this new thing called the Slinky on there too that they didn't have when I was in college. You not been using the? Oh yeah. Well, our live radar is down, and it's going to take like $200,000 to fix it, and I don't think we're going to get it fixed. So that's kind of where we are with our live Doppler radar. We're finding out that that million watts was probably too much, and it kept killing the power supply for one of the magnetrons. So the plan would be to go back to 350. So if there's anybody out there and you're looking at getting a radar, stick with 350,000 watts. That's plenty. But the million watts was just overkill, and it was killing everything. So yeah, disappointing because I missed that live radar. All right, I'm going to sign out, guys. You guys take care, and I will see you next time.